The 80s were incredible. It was a decade full of acid wash jeans, leg warmers, waterbeds, garbage pail kids, Care Bears, and salad bars. You guys remember that almost every restaurant had a salad bar. I, for one, was born in the 80s, and so was the infamous Peter Quill. Star-Lord didn't get to fully appreciate the decade since he was abducted in 1988. Had he stuck around for just one more year, he might have experienced the best part. So, let's take a few minutes to explore why 1989 was the greatest year in pop culture history. So I just finished watching the new trailer for the Flash film that's coming out, and there's just something about it that has piqued my interest. It's not Ben Affleck or Michael Shannon's return. It's definitely not Ezra Miller. No, you already know that the real MVP of this film's marketing campaign is none other than Michael Keaton. It's been over 30 years since he first donned the cape and cowl.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Keaton already had quite a bit of momentum after playing the ghost with the most, Beetlejuice, in 1988. His collaboration with director Tim Burton transformed into kind of a cinematic, dynamic duo. 1 year later, Tim Burton's superhero blockbuster Batman turned out to be a hit with critics and audiences alike. It stayed in theaters for something like 6 months and wound up being the highest grossing film of 1999.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Of course, Jack Nicholson killed it as the Joker. Composer Danny Elfman scored some incredible tracks that I still hear in my head every time I crack open a comic book featuring the Caped Crusader. But Elfman wasn't the only one providing music. Prince dropped his 11th studio album to coincide with the film's release. The album was also titled... Back when MTV used to play music videos, you could check out Prince doing his best impression of the Clown Prince of Crime in The Bat Dance or Party Man. But there were so many other great movies released in '89 as well.
No way!
Bill and Ted went on an excellent adventure. Kevin Costner built a field of dreams, and Robin Williams played the kind of teacher that wouldn't last very long in the state of Florida today. Oh, and don't be deceived by the name. Dead Poet Society is definitely not a film about a group of zombie writers. That would have been pretty cool, though.
Show's over, Shakespeare. Is this the end of zombie Shakespeare?
Tom Hanks took on a family of serial killers in the 1989 comedy The Burbs, and John Candy proved that being a babysitter isn't all that hard in John Hughes' classic Uncle Buck. And just a quick reminder, Macaulay Culkin also appeared in this film way before he was ever left home alone the first time or had that unfortunate run-in with a swarm of angry anthropods. Oh, and that reminds me, the legendary musician Sting received 3 Grammy nominations in 1989, and...
Whoa. Now, you can't make an inappropriate segue like that and not expect to be called out by your fellow content creators.
Oh, it's The Weekend Warrior. I was just,
Listen, YouTube is too wholesome a place to poke fun at kids with severe allergic reactions to bee stings. Just go. Please, go grab a juice box, take a time out, and I'm gonna cover all the great music that came out in '89.
All right then.
If you were listening to music in '89, there's a good chance you owned a Sony Walkman. Over the past decade, the cassette tape player had become the dominant force on the market, and over 100 million Walkmans have been sold worldwide. Of course, there were a variety of performers you might be listening to in the 80s. Some of the most popular songs at the time include Pump Up the Jam, We Didn't Start the Fire, and Love Shack. Vanilla Ice released his debut album, Hooked. The New Kids on the Block were Hangin' Tough. And Milli Vanilli had a slight lip-syncing accent whilst performing live. Oops. There were a number of noteworthy moments during the MTV Video Music Awards in '89. The Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff won Best Rap Video for Parents Just Don't Understand. Yes, he was a rapper. Guns N' Roses won Best Heavy Metal... won Best Heavy Metal Video for Sweet Child of Mine? They're metal? Alright. Michael Jackson was the most nominated artist of the night and won Best Special Effects for Leave Me Alone. The two most awarded performers of the night were Madonna and Paula Abdul.
Now, if music television wasn't your thing, there was plenty of other programming to check out. For example, you could take a quantum leap or be saved by the bell. David Hasselhoff followed up his leading role in the high-speed action drama Knight Rider and decided to slow down a bit by taking on a job as a lifeguard in the worldwide phenomenon Baywatch. Now, I'm sure if you were anything like me, you watched it for the plot. Now, if you like to watch people act like absolute fools, you had some options. America's Funniest Home Videos was always good for a laugh, but things got really wild on the OG reality show Cops. Primetime television continued a classic sitcom trope by introducing viewers to three peculiar neighbors. I'm talking about Cosmo Kramer, Stephen Q. Urkel, and of course, Ned Flanders on The Simpsons Christmas special.
Hey, Simpson!
What is it, Flanders?
Oh, do you think this looks okay?
Oh, neato.
It's too bright. Flanders, what a big show-off.
While The Simpsons would become the #1 primetime cartoon, there was a lot going on Saturday morning as well. The California Raisins got their own cartoon, so did Beetlejuice, Daniel LaRusso, and John Candy.
Welcome to Videoland.
Captain N, The Game Master, and the Super Mario Bros. Super Show both premiered, giving me something to do when it was my brother's turn to play the NES. The Nintendo Entertainment System was extremely popular, but would definitely experience some competition when the Sega Genesis was released in '89. That said, kids in North America were waiting impatiently for the third installment in the Super Mario Bros. Franchise, thanks in no small part to a little product placement in the 1989 film The Wizard. Super Mario would also take a trip to Sarasa Land when Nintendo dropped one of the greatest handheld gaming systems of all time, the Game Boy. Sure, the Atari Lynx was also released in '89 as well, but it didn't come with Tetris packed in, and so the Game Boy proved he was actually a game man. Now, if you had a few extra quarters in your pocket, you might want to try some of the new titles at your local arcade, like Golden Axe or Arch Rivals.
We now return to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were the Fab Four of 1989, appearing in one of the greatest arcade beat-em-ups of all time, a breakfast cereal, a platformer for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and a special prize as part of the Burger King Kids Club meal.
Cowabunga, dude!
But if you weren't a fan of the Whopper, why not visit McDonald's instead and snag the must-have holiday accessory, the Boo Bucket? It went perfectly with either of 1989's hottest Halloween costumes, the Clown Prince of Crime, the Joker, or Tammy Faye Baker. Disney entered a brand new renaissance of animation. The Little Mermaid was a huge hit, outperforming Don Bluth's All Dogs Go to Heaven. Roger Rabbit reappeared on the big screen in Tummy Trouble, an animated short playing before the live-action film Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Disney's newest park, MGM Studios, opened its gates with attractions like the Backstage Studio Tour, Superstar Television, the magic of Disney animation, the Monster Sound Show, and the Great Movie Ride. The Disney afternoon was the thing to watch when you got off the school bus. DuckTales was already a huge hit and received an incredible game on the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1989. My favorite animated chipmunks would also appear in their own 30-minute cartoon block that year. How many of you remember that theme song was so ridiculously catchy? It was performed by the Jets, and lots of people must have liked it because they were asked to perform at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. The event was hosted by Willard Scott, Deborah Norville, and everyone's favorite alien lifeform, Elf.
Oh, the Pink Panther! Oh, this cat is so cool, you'd think he didn't know old Elf had an eye on him, huh? Well, he's on the move in his flowered surfer shorts, but I'll wipe that 12-foot smile off his face.
Some of the highlights included Ronald McDonald, Snuggles Bear, Garfield, and 2 different rabbits. You had Quick Bunny as well as Birthday Bugs Bunny. In fact, the parade marked the beginning of a year-long celebration for the 50th birthday of everyone's favorite, Wascally Wabbit. Bugs Bunny even got a special float for the parade as well, but for my money, the Marvel Universe float was way more exciting. Chevy Chase returned in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, but that wasn't the only sequel released in 1989. You also had Lethal Weapon 2, Ghostbusters 2, Karate Kid Part 3, and Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. But if that wasn't enough, you could also go and grab a pair of solar shades from Pizza Hut and travel to the futuristic year of 2015 with Marty McFly. After that, you might want to check out the Nugget Buddies at McDonald's. Kiki started her own delivery service, She-Hulk Breaks the Fourth Wall, and writer Neil Gaiman introduces readers to Morpheus. Plus, Doogie Howser got his MD, Turner was assigned a new canine companion, and Harry Burns met Sally Albright.
Oh!
I'll have what she's having.
And if you guys are looking for even more Weekend Warrior, be sure to check out my buddy Jason on his YouTube channel. He's all kind of nostalgic, and I'm sure you'll appreciate what he's got to say. As for me, I'm Brandon Specht, this is Retro Spectrum, and you just learned why 1989 is the greatest year in pop culture history.